But how can Gandalf be in the Rings of Power if it takes place thousands of years before Lord of the Rings? But check this out. Impossible. The Rings of Power. Is it as bad as some people say? So I just watched the first 3 episodes of The Rings of Power and I thought I'd talk about it, give you my first impressions, what I liked and what I didn't like, as well as maybe some future projections and a couple of theories. So I'm gonna be frank, episode 1 and 2 stumbled a lot. And episode 3 I think improved slightly, but still was ultimately quite mediocre. So first I'm gonna go over what I didn't like, and I think one of the big things, particularly in episode 1, is the dialogue. For some reason, almost every dialogue between 2 characters is set up in a similar way. One character says something to character 2, character 2 says something to character 1, and then character 1 says something that then triggers a long monologue about something that character 2 thinks about character 1. And that's how it goes throughout almost every single piece of dialogue, especially in episode 1. We have it with Elrond and Galadriel, and we have it with Nori and her parents that talk about, oh, she's so free and adventurous and stuff like that. And you also have it with Arondir, and it just seems so set up and unnatural for me, the dialogue. It even makes some of the actors seem like worse actors for it. I really didn't like Nori and her friend. The whole story with them seemed very childish to me, both in complexity and tone, and they were extremely cliche. And with regards to Galadriel, the actor is pretty bad, I think. There is one scene where Elrond has a monologue towards Galadriel, where Galadriel just has this huge shocked face throughout the entirety of the monologue, and nothing in the monologue or the context of the dialogue between the 2 characters should suggest her being shocked or should mean that she's shocked in any way, but the actor's just like, oh. To note, she's also mostly the character with the worst dialogue, so that could definitely enhance the perception of bad acting from her point of view, but
I am grateful you have not known evil as I have. But you have not seen what I have seen.
I have seen my share.
You have not seen what I have seen.
And in episode 3, I am sad to announce that the bad acting continues, with the Queen of Numenor showing us exactly one expression throughout the entirety of the episode. And the acting in general in this series across the board is actually not very impressive, so that makes me wonder if there's an issue with the directing and it is not entirely on the fault of the actors. I did, however, in addition to Arondir, also found myself quite liking Elrond, although he looked nothing like he does in the movies or how he's described in the books, which I just thought was weird. For those who don't know, in the books he is described as dark-haired, and he has long dark hair in the movies. I don't understand. Not really a criticism, but you know. One last thing I found pretty unfortunate was the extremely fast pacing. We didn't really get a lot of time to rest with each of the characters. It switched back and forth between each of the storylines multiple times throughout the episode. A contrast to this, which I think has a lot better pacing, are the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones, where it also has a different cast of characters all across the world with different storylines, but the difference is they only visit each group of characters once throughout an episode, if one time at all. Some episodes they don't even visit all the characters in that given episode, and I think that gives the series a lot more time to rest with the characters, and it doesn't make the pacing so jagged and fast-paced. Obviously though, I can't talk about this series without mentioning how good looking it is and the insane level of quality that the CGI has in this series. This series, without a doubt, has the best CGI of any TV series ever. Whatever you might think of the show in terms of the story, the writing, and the characters, the visual effects artist at least needs props for that beautiful work. But yeah, I've got to admit that so far I am pretty disappointed, and I didn't even go into this with high expectations at all, really. It still has time to redeem itself though. We're only at episode 3, and I thought the ending of episode 3 was a bit more enticing than the other 2 episodes were. So there. But now, to move on and get into some future projections and theories. We probably have the most discussed one of them all. The stranger from the sky. Is it Gandalf? There are actually a fair amount of things that seem to suggest this. First off, both Gandalf and Saruman first came down to Middle-earth during the Second Age, the age where this series takes place, with a group known as the Blue Wizards. And these Blue Wizards were originally sent with a mission to weaken Sauron's forces, which we know eventually didn't really work out, but it fits pretty well with the stranger falling from the sky thing. In addition to this, we also know that Gandalf eventually gets his hand on Narya, the Ring of Fire from Círdan, I believe his name is. And the series is about the Rings of Power, so... And there is a lot of creative freedom on this topic. Tolkien didn't write a whole lot about the Blue Wizards, so there's a lot of free space where the series could really surprise us or innovate a bit, because Tolkien doesn't really have strict rules about what happens when Gandalf arrives with the Blue Wizards, etc, etc. But we'll see, and hopefully I'll be positively surprised. So guys, let me know what you think of the show in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe or check out 2 of my other videos right here. And I'll see you guys next time.